Hey guys, welcome back to our channel. Sorry it's been so long, you know, life just happens and, well, it did. So today we're going to be talking about this Stihl FS45 trimmer. We've had it for about 5 years now and we've had nothing but issues with it in the past, I don't know, year or two. We've even had the carburetor replaced and it worked good for about 6 months and then it stopped again. I thought about it for a while and really the only thing we can do is start fresh with everything. So we're going to replace the gas, the spark plug, the air filter, the fuel filter, fuel lines, everything like that, and see if we can get it running again. Here we're going to show you how we turned our house into our small family farm. We're going to show you how we accomplished lots of small projects around the house and how you can do them too. So let's check out this trimmer. It is a Stihl FS45 gas 2-stroke engine weed eater. We've had it for a few years now and it's worked great for the most part, but occasionally it's had some real big issues in terms of starting. Typically once it gets started, it works great, but getting it started is the problem, and that's what it is now. First of all, we ordered this pack for the Stihl FS45 off of Amazon specifically. It was about $7 or $8, pretty cheap. It comes with a bunch of things. So it comes with a new air filter, fuel lines, this is the important part for mine, a fuel filter, 2 fuel primer bulbs, as well as a new spark plug. In addition, what we did, we got a new gas tank. The old gas tank had broke, so it really didn't get a good seal on the top, and I'm sure just contaminants were getting in there, just making it all gunky. And as well, we didn't use it a whole lot over the winter and the summer. We got a new gas can. Got this from Amazon for about 20 bucks. We'll put it in the links below. It's actually super easy because it's got a push button, so you can tilt it upside down. Nothing's gonna come out until you push the button. The other thing is, in the past, I had only gotten 87 octane fuel, and come to find out, that's not what you're supposed to use in these things. The manual says 89 or better, and so I'm sure over the few years that I've used it, that just hasn't helped. So I went and got this filled up with 1 gallon of the 91 octane, and I also got a 2.5 ounce carton of oil to go in here to mix up the oil fuel mixture for that 2-stroke engine. So let's get started. First things first, we're going to take the spark plug off. That's pretty easy. All we did here is we took a pair of pliers. You can take some sort of screwdriver or plier tool and just pop this off. Next thing I'm going to use is a 19mm spark plug wrench. It does take some finagling in there just because the spark plug cable kind of gets in the way. So you kind of got to wedge it in there, and eventually that'll come loose. Here you can tell it's actually pretty good looking, but I got a new one, so I'll replace it. See here, you can tell the difference. It doesn't look worn down at all. It's just as dirty. It shouldn't make that much of a difference, but it may help. So to get this going, I'm just going to get it seated in there into the threads. It does have a gasket, so you just need to get it nice and tight in there. There we go. And work that back up this side of the spark plug. Then you can slide it over. Just make sure it's nice and seated. So next thing we're going to do, take the cover off of the air filter. Should pop right off. And get this air filter. In this case, it's still not very dirty yet, but we're going to go ahead and replace it because it will only help to get it off. So now that the cover is off, you got these 2 bolts here with 2 nuts. I've already removed one of these nuts on this side, but what I'm going to do is take my 5/16 socket with an adapter, and you kind of got to wedge it in there a bit. It takes some finagling, kind of twisting as well as pushing at the same time. And eventually you're going to feel the tightness, and then it'll start coming off. So now that that nut is off, this front part, basically this only holds the air filter. It also has the air adjustment for the choke. Next on here is the carburetor. You can get replacements for these fairly cheap if you need to. I don't at this time, but you can. They're about anywhere between 10 and 30 bucks. If you can see in here, it's being held on here by a couple of things. First of all, is going to be this wire here. This is the throttle that's down on the handle. You can see that moves. So you kind of got to disconnect it here. You're going to slide the wire that direction down and it'll loosen and come off. You can see this here, it gets caught on the bottom of this assembly here. So if you push it down, it'll free up. then this carburetor will come right off. So part of what I'm going to be doing is replacing these lines right here. These are the fuel lines. So I am going to remember which one goes where. In this case, it's going to be the longer one will go up top, and the shorter one will go down to the bottom. Pretty easy. Then just pop it off. Careful, there is some fuel in the lines. That's why I put the paper or the plastic bag down. And then you can set this to the side. Now for this step, you don't necessarily have to take the fuel tank off. What I am going to do is go out to our rocks and dump this gas, and I'll be right back. All right, so I got all the gas out. Next thing we're gonna do, it's easiest if you have a screwdriver and you can kind of punch it in there and separate that out. What this does is it pulls that fuel line as well as the fuel filter out. Next, we're gonna get our new setup and connect. So basically you got the two lines. This is gonna be the top outside the fuel tank, and this is gonna go inside the fuel tank, the one line on the side. This connects to that fuel filter. We got two of those. We're gonna use one of them. Slide it down on there. And then this will go right in that fuel tank. And then you just gotta seat it down on that properly so it makes a nice seal. So the other thing you need to check is this bulb on top of the carburetor. This is key, because what this does is it's got a little one-way valve in here, and when you push down on it, it pushes air into the tank via one of these tubes. And then when you let go, it'll actually suck air back in through the other tube into the carburetor. That's how it gets fuel into here to start the ignition process. So if this is broken or busted, or one of these fuel tubes is busted, it's not going to get the fuel necessary to get everything running. In this case, what I'm going to do is I'm going to put my finger on top of this one here, the black one, the top one, and push down on the bulb. And there's a little bit of resistance, and if I let go, I can feel the resistance let go. And do that without it, finger on. So I know my bulb is good, so that's good at least. Then I'm gonna get my fuel lines all connected. Alright, so now I'm gonna connect my other fuel line. Now we're gonna make sure to get this throttle assembly back up here. With this, it's got a little notch up here that actually slides in up there. So, get that set in there. We'll get the carburetor back on. So once this is back on there, we gotta make sure we get our throttle back attached. This is one of the trickier parts. Kind of got to try and extend it and just use your fingers to get it down in there. Carburetor, it'll just be pretty loose to begin with, honestly, but I'll slide this back on. This is the trickiest part. The way I do this is I'll balance it on the end of my finger and try and push it up against that bolt, and just at least get the threads to catch a tiniest bit so it stays on there. Now that the threads are caught on there, you can wedge your socket on there and tighten it down. Again, it doesn't have to be incredibly tight, but you want it snug. Now we're going to install that new air filter in here and then put the cover back on. So now that we got everything put back together, we're going to get our fuel ready to go. So like I mentioned earlier, we have 91 octane this time, as well as a 2.5 ounce, or it's actually 2.6 ounce carton of oil. So I got my gas. I'm going to open this up. Here, we're going to pour our oil in here. So we're going to get some gas in here, fill it up about 2/3 of the way. Okay, so I've even marked this here that you're going to do off, start, and run. So off is this top position of the choke. Start is going to be in the middle on that detent, run is on the bottom. Important here, before we get started, we're going to use this fuel bulb probably about 5 times until we get some fuel in here. Okay, we got a little fuel coming in. So I'll put this to the start. We're going to turn the switch on, and as you can see here, pull the throttle up and set the detent on the bottom. And we'll go ahead and pull it, see what happens. Nice. Much better. So overall, that tune-up to our FS45 wasn't that bad. It literally took about 20 to 30 minutes all in all and cost about $27 from Amazon, and I'll put the links below in the description. So the big things to summarize that we changed up here were the spark plugs, the fuel lines and fuel filter, the air filter, and then we changed from 87 octane gas that was about probably 3 years old to 91 octane gas with new oil in it. And then we also got a brand new gas can which is sealed and doesn't have an air leak in it to help preserve that gas for a longer period of time. And with all those fixes, it works great now, and so I can actually get to work in my yard. Thanks guys for watching this video. Make sure to hit the subscribe button below and hit that bell icon to be notified of all of our new videos when they do come out. Thanks guys, have a good day.